One of the themes you're going to see as you walk around is really three enabling technologies that we think about. One is electronic fuel injection, so EFI. And you all know that EFI has been in the market for quite some time. We continue, but they're all automotive style. We continue to work on developing more robust EFI offerings. You're going to see some of that as we walk around. There's also more to come. So in our product development and our R&D processes, we got a lot of robust things going on there. Electrification. I'm going to talk about electrification in a minute, but we are playing in batteries, and we're starting to play in a much bigger way. And then when you look at some of the other things that we're doing with enabling technologies, IoT. So we got InfoHub. You're going to see InfoHub in the various aspects of our business. We've got some new offerings coming out here at the show that the team will take you through. And really, when you look at it, those are the three things that we focus on as it relates to now being able to grow the business and become much more significant, if you will, as it relates to our commercial offerings, because it's all about the cutters, it's all about people who use equipment to make a living, it's all about uptime, productivity, and efficiency. Let me talk just briefly about electrification. So what does that mean? Because you all hear that word. Electrification really comes back to us electrifying product. How do you take these products that are very mechanical today and now apply electronics, batteries, motors, things like that? So it's much more than just simply taking a battery and applying it to this piece of equipment, for example. It really comes down to how do you have the battery itself. We're not going to make cells, we're going to make battery packs, but then the battery management system, the motors and the motor controllers, and that whole system is what we're really good at, because as we think about ourselves, we're not just an engine company, we're a power application company. I think we've shown that over the years as we've done the Simplicity Ferris acquisition, the Billy Goat acquisition. I think we've been able to take these products and take those great teams that came with the acquisitions and make this product even better, because we know how to apply power and bring things to the marketplace.
As you think about suspension, we've really got three different types of suspension, and actually we've got four if you count a rigid frame as a suspension, because as the lawnmower is going over terrain, the suspension can flex a little bit, kind of like your bicycle, and you can start to absorb some of those bumps with a fixed frame. The next level of suspension that we have is what we call our it's right back over here. This is our pivoting front axle, where we put the axle with a joint in the middle, and it allows to separate something that encounters on the right side from the left side. So in effect, it's like a teeter-totter where the suspension can free up from the suspension. The second level of suspension that we have is our independent suspension, where the left and the right wheel are separated and they're independent, so the mower can encounter one bump on one side and not affect the other. This is the fourth level of suspension that we have. We call it the forefront suspension, and it's really what keeps us in that forefront position for suspension. And it's got four cast iron links up in the front, and what those do is they make sure that these caster hubs stay vertical throughout the travel of the suspension. And it's really, really important, because what that does is that keeps the wheel in the right place as that suspension is going through its movement, so that it's the smoothest, most controlled ride that the operator can experience. It works a lot like an ATV, it works a lot like your car. It's taken us a little bit of time to get to this, but this is the next generation of our front suspension. One of the best ways that we can expand our services beyond cutting is by helping landscapers deal with leaf pickup. And that's what this new blower does. We have two models of ride-on blowers, and by the way, we just passed our entire lineup of stand-on mowers, which a lot of you have learned about in the past, and it really speaks to the productivity that we have for landscapers, and I'll explain. If you're sitting on a mower, if you want to move an obstacle that you're encountering, call it a drain spout or something that's on the ground that you don't want to have to mow over, you have to release the bars, get up from the seat, feet, stand over the deck, pick it up, move it, or whatever, and come back onto the mower. What we did with the stand-on mowers, and the reason that they're so productive for landscapers, is because you can jump on them and jump off them really, really quick. And that's really, really important for landscapers because they are go, go, go. They've got another property to cut that day, and anything you can do to help them out is a good thing. So stand-on blowers are very similar, and it's an extension of our stand-on productivity. In this case, we don't cut, but we blow air and help move leaves and debris with 165 mile an hour airflow coming out of this unit. The FB2000 has 6,500 cubic feet per minute, and the FB3000 has 8,500 square feet per minute. That is a lot of volume. This unit goes about 10 miles an hour. It can really take care of a lot of leaves in a very, very short period of time. One of the things that if you've ever played around with a leaf blower, you'll find yourself kind of moving that airflow up and down. And the reason you're doing that is because what you're doing when the blower is pointed down, you're piercing underneath the leaves, and then when you lift it up, you blow them because they're up in the air. This snout right here does that all the time. It has two levels of airflow, one that digs down and pierces underneath the leaves. Oftentimes they're waterlogged and heavy. And then the top flow takes them and blows them out as far as it can possibly do. So very, very effective piece of machinery here for leaf and debris removal. Really excited to let you guys know that this is the first output of our advanced components team in Munnsville, New York. What that team is all about is what they do is they look to other industries, they look to other areas of technology and transportation even, and start to bring in components into zero-turn lawnmowers to keep us at the forefront of innovation and productivity. In this case, we decided rather than taking those ideas and putting them in, a little bit here, a little bit there for models, we enabled the advanced components team to put that together into a complete SKU and get that to market. And that's exactly what we have here. This is the IS3200 Midnight Edition. We want to make it look different, so we colored it black, and that's where the Midnight name comes from. But the idea here is still for productivity, and it's still very much of an eye on the landscaper and what they need. I'll start off with the front end and just talk about three areas of componentry on this unit. The first area is this integrated front end. You can see LED lights in there. You can also see a jack mount, which allows them to get underneath the mower and service the blades, which they often do very, very easily. Right behind that integrated front end, we've got 12-position adjustable shocks. So here again, we're taking that suspension and we're adding components to it that we're borrowing from other areas of motorsport, actually, in this case. So what happens is if you load this mower up with a debris catcher or other things, and maybe you're hitting a certain type of terrain, you can dial in the suspension. There's 12 different settings on the suspension, and that really, really helps control and dial in the mower for the terrain. Right behind that, the rear wheels are larger for more traction, but they're also really deeply studded there so that it can really grab into the terrain. And what you might think is that might be a little bit too much for the terrain, but actually the rounded corners on these wheels are very easy on the terrain and help this mower really hold hills extremely well. We've got an advanced seat up on there as well, and a couple other things just to get this value. But one of the areas that we really want to recognize is that turf dealers, need some excitement from time to time to bring customers in and get new things going within the industry. That's what this is going to do with these components, and we're really excited about what we're doing with dealers and especially in the commercial areas. This is the Simplicity Courier Z. We're going to have just a quick stop here, but we've definitely recognized that dealers have product for residential customers, and we want to make sure that we're continuing to innovate in that and not just focusing on the commercial side of business. But this is a 36-inch deck, which allows this product to get in and out of gates really effectively. It's also a fabricated deck, which you don't always see on a homeowner Z. And a fabricated deck is deeper and it's tougher than a a stamped deck. And we really like the combination that we have here with this. You can see it's got its high airflow seat, and this mower is ready to get in and out of gates and keep homeowners productive and get them back to doing whatever they're going to do on that Saturday after they're done cutting the grass. Snapper Pro, super important to our legacy and our future. Snapper Pro oftentimes gets into dealerships that for one reason or another do not have Ferris, and we offer up this product line to dealers across the country. A lot of loyalty in the Snapper brand in the south of the country, and what we decided to do is combine two things that are really important to us: the Snapper brand, and then, as I mentioned, on the opposite side of the booth, that stand-on productivity. So this is the first time we're bringing stand-on mowers to the Snapper Pro brand, and that is for the 2019 season. This is the SS200, and this mower, like it's has one step below it, is an SS100, and this model is available on a 52 and 61-inch deck, and the SS100 is 48 and 52 inches of cutting performance. So very, very similar componentry to the Ferris Z1, that's like the SS100, and the Ferris Z2, very similar to the SS200. So we're trying to make it logical for dealers. Folks that have fallen in love with the Z1 and Z2 know that they can trust the same type of componentry and performance out of the Snapper Pro brand in these two models. Talking about expanding beyond cutting. A number of you reported on Briggs & Stratton's purchase of the Ground Logic brand. These are 6 models that we have in spreaders and sprayers. They all share stainless steel construction, all stainless steel construction, as well as the same hopper size for dry material. This, what is this? Is this I'll just say this, there's a 100 and a 200 pound hopper that they share, and what that does is that takes the dry chemical distribution from 1/2 acre to 1.1 acres. So that's how I'm going to cut it the first way. The hopper and that hopper productivity is one way to cut these 6 units up. The other way I like to cut it is in terms of the way that these products work. We've got a spreader, an articulating spreader, which is behind me, and that articulating spreader can cover up to 1.1 acres of dry material coverage, and it articulates and just does the dry material. We've got an articulating spreader and sprayer, which adds to that 1.4 acres of liquid chemical distribution. So we really like how that comes together and can get liquid and dry together under the same unit, or you can turn one on, turn one off. And then the largest unit of this is a zero-turn spreader sprayer that can go up to 2.2 acres of liquid chemical distribution. So all of these are a really nice step up in terms of their capacity and in terms of the way that they operate and the productivity that they offer people who are in the treating business. So when we talk about developing these products and these integration of both the Hurricane brand and the Ground Logic brand, the reason that this makes sense for your readers is because when your readers, when your landscapers go into other areas of chemical distribution, call it fertilizing and treatment and things like that, and they extend their season into leaf removal for their clients, what they're doing is that it's just not just doing more work, they're extending their revenue streams. So as the cutting season winds down, those businesses are able to continue serving their customers in new ways. The other thing that they're doing, they're also altering the profit mix. The profit mix that those landscapers have, because a lot of those extra services come with less competition and therefore higher margin for your landscapers. So do we love having more products? Yes, absolutely, but it's really about having more touch points that are meaningful for the landscapers. And when you're talking about extending their revenue stream and covering that awkward space in between summer and winter when a lot of them get involved in snow removal, you're really taking a lot of the strain out of their business, and at the same time time, Briggs & Stratton in our commercial products group is able to have more touch points, because there's going to be something that we learn from a spreader or sprayer that ends up as an innovation on a lawnmower. I don't know what it is yet, but these types of things can really start crossing over, and we're very excited about the challenges that are ahead and the opportunities that we've got by really expanding these product lines for landscapers.